nose pads always adjusted in certain order. You check frontal first. The frontal affects the closeness of the pads and the direction that you move the guard arms is away from the nasal or towards the nasal. So you are moving this way. Remember, the ideal position in a frontal angle is that when you look at it, you only see 1 millimeter of that pad. And if you see that, you see more than that. You see more than that. Okay? You also want to ensure that there is a 20 degree slant towards the front. So if you notice, this one is perfect, whereas this one is standing up. It's completely up and down. So this one has about a 20 degree angle. Remember, 20 degrees in reference to the center is nothing. It's very little. Okay? So if you see that there's more than this, then it needs to be readjusted. So let me make sure you can get that there. Okay, so this one has a little bit of an angle. This one is completely straight up and down. You see that? No tilt at all. Okay? So again, a little bit of a tilt. This has nothing. It is almost straight up and down. Even if I press it, it doesn't give me that angle. Now the biggest problem here is that it shows more than 1 millimeter. This is a good 20 degrees. This one is too standing up. This one is too vertical. Okay? So to fix the frontal, you got a couple options. This is the flat round. You also have your nose pad pliers, and you also have needle nose pliers. Your needle nose pliers are flat on the inside of both. Okay, so the flat round has 1 round and 1 flat. So depending on the tools that you may have to work with is what you may want to do. I'm going to use needle nose. The most important thing to remember in a frontal adjustment is that you are only going to be moving the guard arms in, and then you take the top of it and you move it. Okay? Notice how I just am moving side to side. It cannot affect vertical. It cannot affect the display. Okay? So notice how I am only moving side to side. I'm adding some pressure to be able to bring in my pads because it was more than 1 millimeter showing. So as you can see, this is better. This one, I affected the display when I adjusted it. So that is an incorrect movement on this nose pad. So I'm going to re-bring it in because I don't want to affect that. I just want to completely make sure that I'm moving the pad in and out. That is it. So then I'm going to look at it from the front again. And I need to add that 20 degree tilt, which means I'm going to take the top of the guard arm and bend it in a little bit. Okay, just the top. Notice I am not touching the bottom of the guard arm towards the eye wire. I'm only touching the top. Okay. Much better. You see how you can barely see that pad? And here, sticks out a little bit more. Oh, almost perfect. Okay, so let me show you now when you put your fingers like this. And I'm showing you like that so that you guys can see. But if I were the optician doing this myself, you would be looking at it towards the front. You would be putting your finger here so that you can see that there is a 20 degree angle and that you only see about 1 millimeter of the pad. Okay, from where you show the eye wire. Now the next alignment on a bridge is your vertical. Vertical alignments check a few things. First of all, they check how close to the eye wire and how far of the eye wire is the actual guard arm. You are also checking it from the side and making sure that it is parallel to the floor. You also want to make sure that the bottom of the pad is a little closer than the front, which as you can see is perfect there. Okay, but I am also looking at the amount of space between the front of the eye wire and the back of the eye wire. So there's a few things you're looking at. The nose pad that you're looking at, you're looking at this guard arm this way and this guard arm this way. That's your vertical. To adjust your vertical, you're going to grab your guard arm. Notice how I'm doing it from the top of the eye wire. You're going to support your frame. You're going to pull away and pull out again. So you have now increased the amount of vertical if you needed to increase the amount of vertical. If you need to decrease vertical, you're going to push it towards the frame front. Then you're going to bring the arm guard down, continuing to push towards the frame front so that you bring it back. Okay. So again, over here, increasing your vertical, you pull away, then you stretch. You still have to maintain the bottom of the pad closer. This is an excessive movement. Remember, we only want 10 to 15 degrees, okay, away from that eye wire. That's all we want, all right? But if the person is a really high power and your eye wires and your bridge is touching, your lenses can't fit, sort of like this particular frame, you have to stretch the eye wire away to make this pad more comfortable. See? Okay. The last adjustment, so I'm going to fix it again to it be normal. I'm going to grab it here through the guard, right close to the pad. I'm going to push, and then I'm going to bend. But before I do anything else, I want to ensure that I have not affected my frontal angle. Again, what is frontal? Back and forth, just like that. Okay, so let's make sure our frontal angle is not a little misaligned. Vertical there. So we're going to look at it from the top, and I still need to push this. See how the gap is there? There's a bigger gap here than there is here. See? So that's the vertical alignment. So we got to keep pushing in until we finish fixing that so that they look the same from the top. And they look the same from the front. They do not. Let's finish fixing let's find out where our guard arms are. You see that's affected my frontal. So we're going to fix that again. Remember, the front moves in and out, in and out. You want to make sure your guard arms are in the same position. Notice how that guard arm is closer to the eye wire and this one is not. So we need to move that guard arm a little closer that way. So you want to make sure your guard arms are on the same place. If my concentration is my eye wire is going to be my point of notice, then I'm going to do the same thing. Point of notice. Okay, so I'm showing it to you like that so you guys can see it. Opticians, we look at it from the top and we look at it from the front. Remember, frontal, you're seeing, is my 1 millimeter, my 20-degree tilt. Perfect. Are they in the same place, in and out, those guard arms? Now I want to add a little bit of splay. Why? Because there's not enough tilt on here. If you notice, it looks like it's tilting in. So then we can use our Nosepad pliers. Okay, you want to make sure whatever you do, you're supporting. And then this is only a twist of the wrist. That is it. Splay angles are looked at like this by the optician. Always like this by the optician. So I am looking at the pad going like this. Okay, so only 25 to 30 degrees, not too much, not too little. And so this you're going to open and you push out towards you just so you can see how far the pad is it's lying down. Now, splay angles are very important because they also help, just like the vertical angles, to distribute weight, all right? But one of the things that you want to remember is that if it has too much splay, you're going to get an indentation on the front of the pad. If it has too little splay, you're going to get an indentation on the back of the pad. So if the patient, when you do the patient alignments, if you're wearing them, that's where you're going to notice. If the pads have too much frontal angle, you're going to get indentation on the top or on the bottom. Okay? So frontal angle messes up top or bottom of the nose, and splay in and out of the nose. Okay?